All right, guys, so today we're going to solve quadratic equations by factoring. So we have number one, x squared plus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So the first step we want to do is set this equation equal to 0. It has already been set up equal to 0 for us. So the next step that we have to move on to is to factor, right? We know that we're going to go ahead and set it up with our parentheses equal to 0. We know that inside of the parentheses, we have to factor out an x from x squared. So we're going to go ahead and include those two x's in front of those parentheses. Next, we're going to identify our a, b, and c values in the original equation. We know that this is a, this is our b value, and this is our c value. All right, a, b, and c. We are going to go ahead and make our factor diamond in order to find out what is going to go inside of those parentheses. All right, so we know that underneath our diamond is our c value, and on the top is our b value. All right, we need to find two numbers that when multiplied is going to give us our value of c, which is 3, but when added is going to give us our value of b, which is 4. So what two numbers can we think about when multiplied come out to a product of 3, but when added gives us a sum of 4? Let's think. Well, the only way we can make 3 is doing 3 times 1, right? So 3 times 1 does equal to 3, and 3 plus 1 does equal to 4. So we can go ahead and insert those values into here. So we have a 3 and a 1. Now we need to find out what signs are going to go after those x, right? We need a positive or a negative. This 3 is a positive, and this 1 is a positive. So we are going to go ahead now and set each parentheses equal to 0 so we can find our values of x. We can go ahead and solve for x after that. So we're going to do x plus 3 is equal to 0, and I'm going to go ahead and separate them so I don't get them confused. And I'm going to do x plus 1 is equal to 0. We want both of these parentheses set to 0. Now I can go ahead and solve for x. I'm going to isolate this x value. And in order to isolate that x, we are going to go ahead and subtract 3. Because 3 minus 3 gives us 0, and it can cancel out, and we're just left with x. We have to do to the other side what we did to the other. So we're going to subtract 3. And 0 minus 3 gives us negative 3. So one of our x values is going to be negative 3. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. We need to isolate our x. So we're going to subtract 1. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we're going to subtract 1 from the other side. We know that 1 minus 1 gives us 0. It's going to go ahead and cancel out. And we're just going to drop down our x and our equal sign. And we're going to do 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. So we have our two x values. We have our x-intercepts, our zeros. We're going to go ahead and put it in the proper form, which is x is equal to, we're going to include those curly brackets, right? And we are going to go ahead and insert those values. The way we do that is by putting them in the curly brackets with a comma. So we have x is equal to negative 3 and negative 1. And this is your answer.